flurry of UFO sightings and magnetic braking of Earth's core prompt fear Planet X Nibiru Nemesis system is approaching. U.S. military forces shot down several unidentified objects back in February, while simultaneously pulling the old Roswell weather balloon trick on the general public. Balloongate, a term coined by some reporters during recent broadcasts, one of them being Shepard Amberlass, titled Balloongate, has been circulating on social media along with a flurry of sightings of unidentified flying objects and increased strange activity. One of the latest being the UFO that landed in somebody's backyard in Las Vegas, Nevada, and a couple of humanoid extraterrestrials, 8, 9, 10 feet tall, came out. They called the police in shock, and the police supposedly had a couple of frames of those extraterrestrials. Now, as the well-crafted, well-researched documentary Shackled to Silent points out, governments worldwide remain in the secretive button-up continuity status, and militaries globally are prepared to roll out more, perhaps, lockdowns. But anyway, going back to this ancient history, and even Central Intelligence Agencies once classified Adam and Eve story, and I'll make another video on that because that's very interesting, what it contains. The CIA's Adam and Eve story revealed that the Earth's core will likely stop for a 24 to 72 hour period as this Nemesis system apexes Earth during its close approach. And remember, as icing on the cake, mainstream science recently admitted that the Earth's core is stopping. So buckle up, Buttercup, because these things could get hairy. And as previously reported, Peking University researchers Yi Yang and Xiaodong Song have found evidence that Earth's core has become nearly stationary over the past decade and could reverse at any time. Again, it perfectly fits the hypothesis in Amberlass documentary Shackled to Silence. There are two major forces acting on the inner core, wrote these researchers in an article published in Nature Geoscience. One is the electromagnetic force, and this is what they say. The Earth's magnetic field is generated by fluid motion in the outer core, according to their report, and they say the magnetic field acting on the metallic inner core is expected to drive the inner core to rotate by electromagnetic coupling. The other is gravity force. The mantle and inner core are both highly heterogeneous, so the gravity between their structures tends to drag the inner core to the position of gravitational equilibrium, so-called gravitational coupling. This is what Planet X researcher and author Marshall Masters refers to as magnetic braking. Although modern science claims this cycle happens every 60 to 70 years, it's more likely it happens every 3,600 years, the amount of time it takes the Planet X Nemesis star system to make one complete rotation. The question is the celestial system inbound, and when will it reach perihelion with our Earth? The Astronomical Journal reported in January 2020 that evidence of a distant planet in the solar system exists, and the article abstract the authors write is this. Recent analysis have shown that distant orbits within the scattered disk population of the Kuiper Belt exhibit an unexpected clustering in their respective arguments of perihelion. While several hypotheses have been put forward to explain this alignment, to date the theoretical model that can successfully account for the observations remains elusive. And they go on to say, in this work we show that the orbits of distant Kuiper Belt objects, KBOs, cluster not only in argument of perihelion, but also in physical space. The report says, we find that the observed orbital alignment can be maintained by a distant eccentric planet with mass greater than 10 m, whose orbit lies in approximately the same plane as those of the distant KBOs, but whose perihelion is 180 degrees away from the perihelion of the minor bodies. In addition, accounting for the observed orbital alignment, the existence of such a planet naturally explains the presence of high perihelion Sedna-like objects, as well as the known collection of higher semi-major axis objects with inclinations between 60 degrees and 150 degrees, whose origin was previously unclear, it says. And the report says continued analysis of both distant and highly inclined outer solar system objects provides the opportunity for testing our hypothesis as well as further constraining the orbital elements and mass of the distant planets, end quote. However, the Planet 9 story, or Planet X Nibiru, presumably only serves as a cover to hide the incoming brown dwarf star system and will likely be cited by mainstream sources once the objects have become really visible to our naked eyes. NASA and other sources admitted in 1983 that its IRIS telescope picked up images of a planetary perturber headed towards Earth, emitting light and sound. And also, a couple of years back, a NASA spokeswoman came and announced that we have a brown dwarf star at the edge of our solar system. Now, a flurry of UFO sightings and military action raises concern as well. A recent wave of UFO sightings, as we said, flooded social media. People are beginning to talk, mainly after reports and other sources reported that U.S. military shot down a UFO over Alaska and appeared to be hovering using no known propulsion source. Moreover, G4S security personnel working at South Carolina nuclear installation reported seeing an unidentified pill-shaped object hovering in the southern sky. We remember that in 2004, the U.S. Navy was making drills off San Diego, and they saw pill-shaped UFOs, unlike the round-shaped balloons of the so-called China balloon, the balloon gate stuff. So, at the same time, the Chinese spy balloon was passing to the north and heading east towards the Atlantic Ocean, as reported. The security worker sent a sole message to Shemard Ambala's show co-host Bethany Adney to relay information on what transpired on site in the morning of February 4th in the skies around the installation. He said, "Hey Bethany, you might remember me from Clubhouse. I'm the guy from town. I wanted to reach out to you. I told Shep that I work at a nuclear installation in South Carolina," wrote the worker. "We saw the balloon," he said, "pass by our east in the morning before it was shot down that afternoon. As that was happening, the sergeant and another officer called in another object in the opposite direction. They both said it was a pill-shaped object hovering over two defunct units about a mile due south," end quote. The worker explained that he believed the balloons that passed through Montana and Alaska were possibly cover stories for advanced craft shot down by the U.S. military. And the sightings? Well, there were sightings in Lakewood, New Jersey, not far from a military base, February 13. New York City. What happened in New York? Some people think about a blue beam project. Toronto, Canada. Breaking UFO sightings in Toronto, USA. What WTF is really going on? That's February 12th again. And Uruguay. The Uruguay UFO sighting that was reported and officially declared by Uruguayan officials recently. And Lake Huron, Michigan. A third UFO shot down in Michigan over Lake Huron. Is it really happening? The U.S.-Canada border, February 12th. First footage of the UFO in the shape of an octagon that was shot down by the United States minutes ago over the border of Canada. And we had various images of those on Twitter, videos. And this is from Shepard Ambulaz on IntelliHub. Please leave your comments about this, and thank you for your support. And next I'm going to do something concerning the Adam and Eve story. I'll try and find what that has to say. It's very interesting. I guess it goes along with what Immanuel Velikovsky was also writing about. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.